Today's topic, my wife aborted her baby over astrology. This is a story someone sent me. I have no idea what it reads, so I figured I would just take a shot and I will read it in front of you guys. So, wife got an abortion because the child would be a Sagittarius. I'm upset because we're trying for a child. My wife and I have been married for about 3 years and we were thinking of starting a family. Fertility issues run on both sides of the family, so we're pretty surprised to find out because we weren't exactly trying. It was one of those if it happens type of situations. The baby would have been due in December. My wife is really into astrology, tarot cards, and that sort of thing. I know Reddit has a hate boner for astrology, but I see it as no different than a love of cars. Oh no. She knows I'm not into it, up until now it hasn't been a big deal in our relationship. When we first had the maybe we should have a baby talk, she started to get a little more interested in astrology, which didn't strike me as odd. What struck me as odd was her reaction to finding out when we talked about having a baby. She was super duper excited, pushing for us to get pregnant sooner rather than later. But she seemed kind of scared when she saw the results of the first test. That was in late April. Her parents had gotten into an accident in May, needed help getting around, so she moved in with them for a few weeks. During that time, she barely called or texted me. That isn't completely out of the norm, but I felt like she would be communicating more since she was pregnant. At this point, she was showing to me she didn't look super pregnant, but I noticed a difference. She came back 3 days later and she looked like she had lost weight. She barely talked to me and looked extremely on edge. So finally I got her to talk to me. She just blurts out, "I aborted the baby!" I was at a loss for words. I was just staring at her. So she was trying to play some sick joke on me. And she went on to say that she felt the baby was going to be a Sagittarius. And she doesn't feel that her sign, sun sign, isn't compatible or not a good fit for a mother-child bond. So I screamed at her. I said nasty things. She said nasty things back. She told me it was because it was her body and her choice. And she's right. But I don't get to feel bad too. I'm sleeping on the couch right now. I'm trying to figure out my life for me. What do you think?
This video is not going to be long. Grab your shit and leave.
This girl was so prejudiced against mumbo jumbo children that she aborted one.
That is not the person I want to be with that's going to take that decision like that for that reason. Like, that's her reason. That's going to be who I'm going to try to raise kids with. That's who. To me, what she just did there, to me, is the same thing as someone disowning their children because they're gay. The Bible says so, I'm going to do that. Astrology says that we're not compatible, so I'm not going to do that. We're not compatible. You have the, we can't go. What you're doing is, to me.
I get it, yeah.
To you, it's not.
Yeah.
Sure. But to me, that's in the same MO. That's in the same thing. Wow. Well,
for me, it's not the same thing, but we all know the astrology point is stupid. So I'm not going to spend a long time talking about that. What I do think is interesting here, yes, it's your body, it's your choice. But I think when you're in a committed relationship with someone and you guys are trying to vie for children, the fact that you don't have their consideration of your partner when you're making that choice, to me, is unbelievably selfish. It's self-centered. And it's not something I'd ever respect in somebody. Of course, listen, I'm pro-choice. A lot of people are going to get mad about that. Say whatever you want. That's your opinion. We disagree, blah, blah, blah. But I think we can all agree the bare minimum is that you talk to your partner before you make that choice. Because while it's your body, it's your choice, that choice that you're making or choosing not to make is going to have a tremendous impact on that person's life. Tremendous. Yes, it impacts you, but it also impacts them. So while they may not be able to choose, a conversation would be the bare minimum. And I do think that sometimes the way this conversation goes, beyond the whole her body, her choice, is a little bit too one-sided. As if men don't have feelings in this matter, and men don't want to be fathers, and men don't care about, when you abort that child, there's also the man present who thinks about the fact that they almost had a kid, and that affects them as well. So there has to be some consideration for that portion too. And I think that's what's the most shameful thing about this whole thing. Well, maybe not the most shameful. The most shameful is that she aborted a child because of astrology, which is absolutely fucking crazy.
It's asinine.
It's asinine, but that's what happens. When you buy into astrology and you buy into it enough, you start to believe in prejudiced ideas. You believe in these stupid things. right? Even though there's no proof for it, there's no evidence that it works, there's none, zero. All the studies that have been done have refuted its existence and its work. Natal charts, whatever it is, it's all hocus pocus bullshit. But when you believe in magic, for some people, this is a logical conclusion. You know, if you really believe in astrology the way she does, right? You believe it determines bonds, it determines this and that. You know, for her, she basically saw having this child as like having a child with a disability. That's how it was in her head. This child's going to become less than ideal. We're not going to function. They're going to have a bad environment. So because of the astrology thing that I believe in, I'm going to do this. That's where these kinds of ideologies go for some people, and it's inevitable. Does that mean that astrology should be wiped off the face of the earth? No, I think if you want to believe in mumbo jumbo, go ahead. But it doesn't change the fact that it's mumbo jumbo. It's absolute nonsense. And you know, this is where it goes. And I also think it's so misguided of anyone going into parenthood thinking like they're supposed to be compatible or a good fit for their children. Like it's supposed to be a good transition. Newsflash, most parents will tell you it's a very tumultuous period. There's a lot of ups and downs. Your parents and sometimes children grow detached from each other. They reconnect. Sometimes they don't get along. Sometimes it's like oil and water. You know, compatibility in you and a child is not just a matter of personality. It's a matter of decisions and effort. So you thinking the stars are going to determine that? Boo-boo, you got some holes in your game. You're already coming at this from a wrong place. Because I'll tell you this, no matter how different, no matter how incompatible, what does that even mean really? Because you're molding the child in a lot of different ways. No matter how incompatible you guys think you might be, or how different. If you put in the effort, if you try to be present, if you really show love to that child, vast majority of the time, they're going to respond in kind. Even if they don't share your views and all that, they're going to respond. So for you to give up because of a sign, bitch, you are bugging. Bugging.
And that is the meaning of moving mad. Bro,
that's crazy. And to the guy who's involved in this, bro,
leave.
If this is real, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's real, absolutely, because we never know. But leave.
This man said he's sleeping on the couch. Bitch, I'd be already out the door.
Done.
But this is also why I don't date girls who believe in astrology. The moment a girl starts talking to me about mumbo jumbo and magic, deuces. So that's just my thoughts on it. But hey, y'all do you. Y'all live your best life. If your moon's in Sagittarius, hope you guys have a good time. Venus retrograde, Gatorade, blah, blah, blah. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm out.